Hi friends, and welcome back to my garden, and also happy September. It is definitely feeling like fall here in Vermont. There's a little crisp in the air, the leaves are already starting to change, and I am living for all of these fall vibes. And the garden is definitely feeling the cooler weather as well. It has slowed down a little bit, but we're still harvesting things like kale and carrots and our little pumpkins. So I'm really excited to take you around today and just show you what's growing, what we're harvesting, what has changed since the last tour last month, and just hang out in the beauty of nature with you. So if that sounds like something you want to see, then just keep watching. So I know we usually start our monthly garden tours in the kitchen garden towards the front, but I thought we would start in the back today because there's not too much to update on or harvest. We have a few cucumbers coming in, but I already harvested a bunch the other day and still have to make pickles out of them. So I'm gonna leave them hanging out on the vine. We still have a couple summer squash coming in, but they are definitely starting to slow down with the cooler weather. But the cantaloupes are still doing fabulously. I think we currently have 4 on this arch. So I'm really hopeful. This is our first time ever growing them. So send good vibes as they actually turn out. And then the only other thing back here to show you really is our little pumpkins growing, which we already harvested one of these and have it inside for our fall decor. They are so freaking cute. And then the other thing is this behemoth of a butternut squash. Look how big that is. I cannot wait to turn him into soup. And then, you know, on this side, we've been having issues all year. These plants are still trying here. I'm not expecting much, but like I said, it's something. Oh, I do have an update over here though. So if you've been watching our monthly garden tours, you know that this bed has not been doing great. We had a lot of soil issues earlier in the season and it never really rebounded. So I wasn't expecting this arch to fully fill in or even connect at the top because of it, but I have something very exciting to show you. This little loofah here has gone all the way up and over and is finally connecting at the top. Look at that. So I can check that goal off of the list, at least for this season. The other thing in the back here that I've given no attention to at all in any of these tours, or really all season, or since we bought this house, is this grapevine. They just come back every single year, bigger and bigger and bigger. And unfortunately, there is some kind of bug that attacks them every single time, so we don't really get a harvest from them. I've made grape jelly once so far, but still. It's a big, beautiful plant that is home to some nice daddy long legs, and I'm pretty sure the birds still eat the grapes. So we leave them for them, but I'm hoping next year to cut down the vine there at the bottom and do a seedless variety and hopefully maybe a bug-resistant variety if that even exists. All right, the last thing I have to show you is our shade garden, which something broke into this last night. Oh, and something stole a tomato back here. So I have had beer slug traps in that back garden, which are clearly working well. Anyways, this reeks back here because I had beer slug traps going and something broke into our netting last night and knocked over all of the beer traps with dead slugs in it. So it reeks back here. It smells really bad. If you come around back here, you can see that the netting was pulled up and something also knocked over all of our stakes that we had holding up this netting. And like I said, it smells pretty bad, so I'm just going to, it smells so bad, y'all. I'm gonna fix what I can and call it a day because it smells too much for me to be doing this. So our kale, our cabbages, our Swiss chard are kind of under attack, but we're still getting some of a harvest, so yay for that. But like I said, it smells awful back here, so we're gonna head over to the kitchen garden. As I was giving everything one last look through, I remembered that I wanted to harvest my onions for the year. Y'all ready for this? Big, beautiful. Not really, they're supposed to be like normal white onions, but they did not thrive because again, the soil issues. So I'm taking what I can get. I'm happy to get anything, and I'll just pretend that I tried to grow pearl onions and that they did fabulously. I think this is my biggest one though. Ready for it? Oh, he's in there. There we go. This year's onion harvest. This was my first year growing onions and was an experiment, so I'm proud to have gotten anything. And now we have room for improvement next year, right? It just sucks because I literally started these back in February, and 8 months later, 10 months later, I don't know how long it's been, but that's all I have to show for it. Still proud though, still proud. While we are walking over to the kitchen garden, I just wanted to take a second to shout out this hat from Farmers Defense, because not only is it adorable and like this pattern is so fall vibes, but also it helps protect you from the sun, which if you followed me over on Instagram back in the winter, you may remember that I had a bit of a skin scare and I'm being very careful with my sun exposure basically for the rest of my life. So I really appreciate hats like this, and they also make really cute sleeves, so that way I don't have to put sunscreen on every day and feel sticky and worry about the chemicals in it. So I really love this company. This video is not sponsored by them. I'm just a really big fan, but they did give me a coupon code for this community. So I'll put that down below with the link to their website, so that way you can twin with me or check out their other cool patterns and protect your gorgeous skin from the sun. So unfortunately, the audio in this clip got messed up because it was so windy while I was filming, but I wanted to show you how much these tomatoes have just taken over the arch. Like, they are too tall now for us to even prune back, and a month ago they weren't even touching on the arch. So this area has been exploding with growth, exploding with tomatoes, cucumbers, and finally paprikas. So I'm going to go around real quick and harvest all of this stuff. We are finally harvesting peppers from this bed. These paprikas are so freaking red and beautiful. This is actually the plant that got eaten down completely to the bottom by a bunny at the very beginning of the season. And he rebounded and is finally giving us some paprikas that I'm hopefully going to be able to dry and turn into some powder. While we're over here harvesting those paprikas, I wanted to see if I could finally harvest my first carrot of the season. Oh my gosh. Okay, well I got a couple with them. They were all together. But look at this big boy. That is the biggest carrot we have ever grown. Last year we kind of grew baby carrots because they never really got big, but I'm pretty proud of that. So I'm gonna leave the rest of these carrots in this row here until we get some colder weather, because apparently colder weather makes them sweeter. But I just wanted to show you kind of the view of how green and lush this space is compared to how it looked back in like June. The last thing I want to point out over in the kitchen garden before we head over and look at the containers are these sunflowers. These are a mammoth variety and they're not supposed to bloom multiple times, but this one is, so I'm leaving it and it looks great. I wish I had the mirroring on the other side, but I will take what I can get, and I've already taken some seeds from this one, so hopefully I can get them to grow again next year and have sunflowers all season long. Okay, here's our harvest so far. A lot of tomatoes. I'm probably gonna have a salad tonight, but let's head over to the container garden and see what else is waiting for us. Our herb garden is still doing fabulously. I have been harvesting the sage and the thyme and the rosemary and drying it down in our basement, which I shared over in our preserving video, so I will link that somewhere for you. But I'm not going to harvest any of this, even though we have a ton of basil, because my wife wanted to make pesto this weekend. So I will leave it for her, but I did want to show you back there. We have some more pumpkins growing, and I am just so excited for fall. Look how adorable these are. They are actually the same variety. They're both called Jack V. Littles and should look like this, but he's doing his own thing and being creative, which I kind of love even more. And my wife finally let us decorate for fall, so I can't wait for these to be done so I can cut them and bring them inside. Also, I'm really curious, when do you decorate for fall? Because I know some people are like September 1st is the official start and they go all out. And there's other people like my wife who says it has to feel like fall before we can decorate, which finally happened yesterday. She agreed that the weather was cool enough, the leaves were changing enough, it felt like fall. So the house is all warm and cozy and colorful and there are pumpkins everywhere and it makes me so freaking happy. I also need to show you our big pumpkin growing because this Big Max is getting pretty big over here. Look at this guy. He's getting a little odd shaped because of the holder I have him in. This is just like a plant hanger, but it's working. He's getting massive. So hopefully he's big enough and we can actually like carve into him and make a jack-o'-lantern. That was my goal, but we shall see. We might end up having to go to a pumpkin patch, but I'm still pretty happy with him. And we have made it to the last stop on this garden tour, which is our container garden over in the corner. And this is mostly where we have annual flowers and a few random things like tomatoes and potatoes and peppers and whatnot. But what I really want to point out to you is these zinnias, because I have been growing these from seeds that I have stolen from flowers that I think my dad gave me like 3 years ago. So these are really special and absolutely beautiful. And then next to them, this other little pop of color is some cosmos, which this is our first year growing them, and I will forever grow them. They are a continuous bloom and absolutely gorgeous. And then we have a few marigolds in the front, which I'm going to put on the front porch as our fall display because my mom's did not grow this year. But other than that, I just have a few paprikas to pick, and then I think we are done here today. A few honorable mentions back here is this eggplant, which is finally getting flowers. I don't think we'll have enough time for it to produce a fruit, but it's growing, it's doing things. And then this potato is so close to dying back and ready to harvest all of those jewels hidden in the dirt. This was just a random potato on our counter that sprouted, so I put it into a 5-gallon pot. And I'm really excited to see what comes out of it. So make sure to stick around to the October garden tour because we're gonna dump that over and see what we got. And with that, I think we are done with this month's garden tour. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed making this video, and I will see you next month for another garden update.